Folks, this is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City, and I want to invite everybody to come down here and see us. We're located at 1015 Gulf Avenue South here in downtown Fort Payne, and I want everybody to come down and check out our inventory. Bobby always keeps the inventory refreshed. We've got new stuff coming in every single day, a lot of stuff going out every day. Listen, we appreciate everybody in the area coming down here, letting us earn your business. I'm telling you what, this year's been great for us, and every year we get nominated and then we get voted in as the best in DeKalb. So I want to tell everybody we appreciate y'all doing that for us. Let us know we're doing everything right. So y'all come down here and see us, 1015 Gulf Avenue South. You can shop us on the web at Twin City Used Cars, or you can just give us a call at 256-844-2210.
Welcome into the Mountain Valley News North Jackson Press Pigskin Preview. I'm Monk Blevins.
I'm Sammy Smith.
And we're here for week 5 or game number 6.
6, yes.
So, hey, we're about to get this thing. It's taking us
maybe,
like
well,
5
I don't know.
weeks.
Maybe by the end of the year we'll have it down pat.
Hey, a lot of great football games this week. Of course, we'll talk about the first one, which was the Mountain Valley News game of the week last week, the Plainview Bears versus the Geraldine Bulldogs, and Plainview traveled down to Geraldine and got a big win.
Yeah, that's a huge win right there. I was just looking at their schedule. They've, Plainview's got 3 region wins now, and they've got 4 games to go with 5. Collinsville, Sylvania, Brindley, and more than likely that win right there against Geraldine at least put them in the playoffs. Put them in a really good position for a home field advantage in playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. So, a big win for the Plainview Bears, and been a couple of years since they had beat Geraldine. And, didn't play great in the first half, a couple of turnovers and a couple of things, but, they come out in the second half, and of course, Marcos Vega had just an outstanding football game.
He had a great game. Had, 229 and 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, so
wow.
A big night for him. And then, of course, and then you just go on and on. Offense, defensive lines, I thought, played extremely well. The McCurdy
Brody
kid,
McCurdy.
Yeah, Brody McCurdy played really good in the second half. And, I really thought he wore them down in the second half after Marco had a couple of big long runs. And then they just started pounding with him. And you could tell that Geraldine was getting tired.
Yeah.
So a big win, 30-16 for the Plainview Bears, and they go out of region play this week and play a Crossville team who has been struggling. They had the week off last week, but they have beat Plainview the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever overlook Crossville. Crossville's got, like we keep saying over and over, Crossville's got a good ball team. They've got some good athletes, and you can't overlook them. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. So that's a big game, and that game is at Plainview this week. So, but again, wow, it's just a great football game for Plainview, and like you said, that probably pretty much secures a playoff spot.
It at least secures a playoff spot, and it leaves 2 undefeated teams in the county. You've got 5 undefeated and Plainview undefeated.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's coming down to some excitement. Like, if Plainview gets by Crossville and Fife wins this week, there'll be 2 undefeated teams playing next week.
So that'd be huge. And you'd think that, probably could happen with a good chance of it. A couple of other players that some I didn't mention, but the Richie kid, he was all over the field. He made some huge plays.
Big plays, yes.
I can't say enough about that kid.
On defense, he plays great.
He is such a great player. Of course, a lot of other players had great games too. And again, to me, offensive line and defensive line, I just started watching them, and they were just pushing Geraldine back. It was a great game for the Plainview Bears.
Now, I talked to some of them Saturday, and they were all sore. It was a very physical game.
I'm sure it was.
Geraldine's always really physical, and Plainview was real physical, and it was just a beat you up. That was like what we used to call slobber knockers.
Slobber knocker, yeah.
I wasn't involved in the slobber knocker, but I've heard of them.
Yeah. So, So big win for Plainview. You know, next game we've got the Sylvania Rams. They traveled down to Collinsville, and you know, I thought Sylvania would win, but I thought it would be a close game, and but it wasn't that close, 35 to nothing.
Yeah. Gareth Anderson had a big night, run all over him.
Oh, absolutely. I think he had 116 yards rushing on the night.
Yeah,
So big
I'm
game
like
for
you.
him,
I thought it would be closer than that. But of course, you know, you this time of year you don't know who's missing. Collinsville could have had some players out. I don't know, but Sylvania's got a good
Sylvania's got a
team.
good football team, and again, you get going down the line. You know, that's another one of those that Plainview's gonna have to meet up with later down the line.
Now I wasn't slighting Sylvania. I was looking down the line who they got in the region, and you know, and it's gonna looks like it may come down between Sylvania and Plainview for a home spot.
Yeah, very well.
Right now it's Fife, Sylvania, and Plainview, and Fife has beat Sylvania, so looks like it may come down to Fife.
Yeah.
Well, still going to be Fife, still involved in it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Again, like you said, Anderson had a great game. Brody Smith at quarterback, he's an outstanding player. What's the kid's name? I always want to say Wooten. It's not Wooten.
Oh, Will Banks.
Will Banks, yes. Yeah, Will Banks. He is a good-looking kid.
He is. You know, that really hurt them last year. I believe it was last year he got hurt and got put out for the season. That really hurt them. He's an outstanding player.
Outstanding player. So all those guys, and you know, Sylvania, they have another. Let's see, they have a game this week. The game actually is not a game.
Yes, I know.
Doesn't count on the record. I guess that's the way we have to say it.
It's written in the state somehow or another, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but they'll be traveling over to Holly Pond. Is that right? I think that's right.
I think so.
I think so, but so it's more of a scrimmage game than anything, but you know, it's gonna count as a win or a loss.
It's just like going over and playing a real game.
Oh yeah, so that should be a big game, and we'll talk a little bit about it in a few minutes. And then the next, we had Fife. Of course, they traveled to Brindley Mountain. Wasn't sure if that game would even be played, but it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was 54-6, Fife, and not a surprise to anyone. And, you know, Ike Rowell had another great game, and what's the other kid?
Dukes had 121 yards.
Yeah.
Kyle Dukes had 121 yards.
Yeah, the Dukes kid. That's what I was trying to think of. He had a great game, played great for them, and you know, you could just name every player on that team had a good game. I'm sure. So
yeah.
But big win for Fife, and they've got one of these, if you want to call it a scrimmage game, but it's gonna count. And Clark County is coming to Fife. Clark County is at 3-1 on the season, and of course I talked to Coach Benefield, and he said, "I'm telling you, they are a good football team, and I'm worried to death."
I looked over their roster, and they have some what sounds like you can't see the players.
Yeah.
But they sound like they got some athletes.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Okay. All right. So he really was. He was concerned about it. He said, unfortunately, I said something about, so y'all are playing Clark County? He sat back. He said, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then he was telling me all about it after that. So that's going to be a big game, and we'll talk about that.
Clark County also is well coached. They have Stacy Luker as their head coach.
Oh, really? Okay.
He won like 5 or 6 state championships at Sweetwater when he was there.
So that should be a big football game.
Should be a big game.
Big football game. You know, next we're going to talk about the Valley Head Tigers. Of course, Valley Head, it was our team of the week, and a big win over Galesville, you know, and they have taken a huge step in their region. Right now setting the top of that region, and, you know, a big win for them. And they had to hang on, actually, to win that football game.
Yeah, they jumped out, 21-8?
Yeah. I had a coach had texted me a couple of stats. Let me see if I can find those real quick here. I've got them on there, but what he had told me, we were talking about players, and he said Bryson Morgan broke an 85-yard run to seal the win.
Yeah.
And he wound up with 14 carries for 126 yards. And by the way, he is our Mountain Valley News Player of the Week, so congratulations. He's had several big games.
He has. He's come on strong this year.
Yeah, and then also you got to mention Jordan Burt had 14 carries for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Right.
And Ian Bain, get this, 4 carries, 106 yards, and 1 touchdown.
His average
that's a pretty good average.
It?
So, you know, this Valley Head team is playing well right now. They have a big game this week. Yes, they'll be playing Ider. Ider will be coming to Valley Head, so big game for them.
Out of region game, but a big game.
Yeah,
like
big
rivalry.
Rivalry, just right up the mountain from each other. So next, man, can't say enough. Woodville, the double overtime, and they pull it out 34-32. And man, this game was back and forth, and actually Jackson Peak had scored early, and then Josh Thompson had scored. They jumped out to a 14-0 halftime lead. Summerton Christian comes back, ties it up, just keeps tying it up. They go into double overtime, and
they went to the double overtime where you have to go for two. And
Peak scored and got it.
Scored right.
And some Christian didn't.
Yep, they didn't get theirs.
So, but Jackson Peak, of course, and I did read a little bit about he was a little bit injured still, his shoulder from the week before, but didn't show. He had 185 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns on the night, so he wasn't that badly injured, I don't guess.
No,
didn't slow him down much.
Athlete.
But our producer says it's time for a break, so we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll finish running down last week's game and get ready to talk about this week. So we'll be right back with you.
Southern State Bank in Rainsville, we excel within the walls of our bank and outside these walls too. We're actively working with area schools to improve classrooms and supporting area student athletes on fields and courts. We work and worship at most churches in the Rainsville community. We also work to enhance the lives of area seniors, thanking them for a lifetime of contributions. We're the bankers and corporate citizens at First Southern State Bank. True community banking.
Hi, this is Adam Hill, Operations Manager at Johnson Heating and Cooling. Are you having problems with your current heating and cooling system or just want it serviced? Give us a call today and let one of our NATE certified home comfort specialists come see what we can do for you. We offer 24/7 emergency service to our customers. We service most makes and models and offer a free second opinion on unit replacement.
Call Johnson Heating and Cooling today, Alabama's largest and most awarded TVA dealer.
The City of Stevenson.
Welcome back into the Pigskin preview. Let's go ahead and talk about our next game. We had Springville and Scottsboro, and man, a great game for 3.5 quarters. A tight game. Scottsboro led midway through the fourth quarter, 21-20, and then Springville opened the doors. They scored the next 22 points, and it was 42-21, and then Manning, he scored late to make it a 42-28 game, but man, tough loss for the Scottsboro Wildcats.
When you're up in the fourth quarter, man, that's
you stayed in that game for 3.5 quarters, and then just kind of fell apart at the end there. But talking about Jacob Manning, and man, he's the do-it-all for them. He was 11 of 19 passing for 141 yards for Scottsboro, so he had another outstanding night.
A real bright spot.
And so, a tough loss for them. That's a big region game, and that really was one they would probably like to have had.
Oh, that's really a tough one there. They would love to have that fourth quarter back.
And then it doesn't get any easier this week as they'll be traveling up 72 to face North Jackson, and we'll talk about that one in a little while. Next, we had North Sand Mountain, and you just can't say enough about North Sand.
I tell you, they're just rolling right along quietly, and they're going to end up being either region champs or region runner-ups.
Absolutely, a big game. Later on in the season, they'll play Faultville, and both teams are playing really well. But this North Sand Mountain team just, they win 55-14 at Tanner, which is saying a lot. Lake Bell was 7 of 8 passing for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you lose your starting quarterback of like 4 years. Lake Bell steps in and you don't miss a beat.
Hadn't missed a beat. I mean, if you just watch them play, you'd think that they had the same team they had last year.
Yeah.
And they might actually be a little better than they were last year.
Different players step up and make a difference. That's
Absolutely. And Fernando Luna, he had 65 yards on 11 carries. He's a workhorse for them.
And caught a long touchdown pass.
Caught a long touchdown pass. Yeah, what, a 60-something yarder, I think.
Yeah, 62-yard pass.
And so great night for North Sand Mountain, and they have a big game with Cedar Bluff this week, and a non-region game. But this North Sand Mountain team is just rolling right along.
They are.
And like you said, it looks like they'll be playing for a region championship here in a few
we
weeks.
got a lot of good coaches in this area. They're a well-coached team. We're getting more and more good coaches in the area.
Absolutely.
So it's getting competitive.
Yeah. And then the last game we're going to talk about, and man, what a heartbreaking loss for North Jackson, playing a outstanding Madison Academy team. Madison Academy scored first and got a field goal. North Jackson had to punt, 3-and-out punt, but they force a turnover. They take it in. They go up 6-3, and then Madison Academy comes back and goes up 10-6, and then all of a sudden, North Jackson opens the doors and they get up 32-10.
Yeah.
And they recovered 2 onside kicks in the first half, and but in the second half, man, it kind of fell apart for them. They just couldn't seem to get anything going, and I heard Coach Kygard made the comment that these kids last year they lost so many games, and getting up like this, they just kind of
relaxed a little
bit and lost their lost the edge a little bit, and it cost them a football game.
And it will once things start snowballing, and you've had a bad year the year before.
Oh yeah,
it makes it rough, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Dalton Morris had another great game at quarterback. He was 14 of 31 for 144 yards. And, of course, Johnny Gillum, he rushed for 114 yards and had 2 touchdowns. So, this North Jackson team, they can put the points on the board.
They can.
But
it also cost them like that, Of course, I think he may onside kick most of the time. He said he got 2 the first half.
He doesn't have a very good kicker, I think.
And so he goes,
Yeah, and that can be good or that can be bad.
Yeah, that could let a team come back if you kick some onside kicks.
Oh, absolutely.
In
If they have good field position.
I don't know if that's what happened.
And I don't either on that part of it, but it shortens the field for them.
Yes,
especially if they don't cover the onside kicks. So,
but they have a good team. Their defense has to be good to stay out there as much as they are.
Oh my gosh, because they score so quick.
The offense gets the ball, they score really quick.
Yeah, and of course, again this week they have a huge game as they'll be hosting Scottsboro, who is their neighbor. Just right up the road from each other.
Big rivalry.
And and they're not just real crazy over each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's going to be a huge football game this week. So. That's kind of what we've got as far as last week. We can go ahead and start talking about this week's games. Of course, you look at the first one, Collinsville was scheduled to play Sandrock. That game has been forfeited by Sandrock due to a COVID concern. So Collinsville actually is playing section
in a
non.
What do they call those things?
I don't know what
something game.
So, but it'll be it doesn't really count for them or count against them, but it keeps them at least in the action. So.
Yeah, it lets them have another game because sections missed a couple already.
Oh yeah, and then they kind of missed a couple.
Collinsville, they've had a forfeit too.
They've also had one, yeah. So that should be a good game. Section we know is a good football
Last
team.
time they played, it was 7-0.
Absolutely, and so they're going to play again, and we'll see how that goes, and that'll be an interesting football game. Next game is Crossville traveling up to Plainview. Again, Crossville had a bye week last week. Started the season, just had a rough time. A lot of turnovers. I think I went back and counted in the first 3 football games. They had 12 fumbles.
Wow, that'll kill you, and that'll get you an 0-3 record too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That will get you beat. But they probably have been working on that a lot. Last week, of course. Weather-wise is not going to be great. There is a chance of rain on Friday night, and that could affect not just Crossville but Plainview also.
Both,
but that should be a big game. That game is at Plainview, and I was trying to think. It's been, Plainview's sitting at 4-0, and I don't know when the last time they were 4-0.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So this Plainview, everybody, the community's got to be excited about the way Plainview's playing, and and Crossville would love to come up here and make it 3 in a row and spoil the undefeated
There's
season.
been a lot of really tough games played between Crossville and Plainview over the years, and I look for this one to be just as tough.
Oh, absolutely. Next game we got on tap is Cornerstone. Will be traveling to Russell. which is in
Meridian,
Mississippi.
Yes.
So a long ride for Cornerstone. Don't know anything about Russell, but we know Cornerstone has got some very good athletes.
Yeah, I do know that last year Russell's averaged probably about 50 points a game.
Ooh.
They were really good last year and won the championship, I believe, in the 8-man football last year.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that may be a tough game. All right, we've got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to finish talking about some of the games, and then we'll talk about our game of the week. So we will be back with you in just a moment.
They take you where you want to go, where you need to go, and sometimes where you thought you'd never go. If we're lucky, the road of life is smooth, and the curves are just part of the adventure.
All for a better life.
Enjoy your road. Alpha Insurance.
All for a better life.
Pay your bill, file a claim, and more with the Alpha To Go app.
The city of Rainsville, the crossroads of Sand Mountain. Sylvania Pharmacy, your friend, your drugstore. W.T. Wilson Funeral Home, family owned and operated.
Welcome back into the Pigskin Preview. We'll go ahead and talk about some more of the games this week. Next game we're going to talk about, Sacs will be traveling to Geraldine. You know, the Sacs team, they took a tough loss to Ohatchee last week, and I can't remember the score. Of course, Geraldine took a tough loss to Plainview, but both of these teams, you know, Sacs beat Sylvania early in the year. And so Sacs has got a good football team. Of course, we know Geraldine does.
Yeah.
This should be a very physical football game.
Yeah,
this coming
it'll be
week,
a very interesting game.
Yeah, and I think that will be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
I think so. I know Sacs has got a really good running back, and when he gets on the corner, he's got some speed. So.
Yeah.
And of course, Geraldine, they're just a very physical football, like you said.
It'll be an interesting
Plainview
game.
Plainview can tell you about that how physical that game was. Next, we've got Ider at Valley Head. You know, Ider coming off of a 2-game quarantine, I guess. Is that what it is, or whatever you want to call it? Hadn't played in a couple of weeks, so you know they've got to be excited about getting back on the football field.
And playing their just drop off the valley.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Valley Head right there
Absolutely.
at Ider. They're just right side. There's probably, is it 5 miles apart?
Probably.
They're not much.
Not much. It's not much at all. But so it's a big rivalry game. Of course, Valley Head, we already talked about. They were the team of the week and playing really good football right now. And so that should be an interesting football game. You know, Ider, I mean, they should be healthy. And so I think this will be a good football game and be a good test for
Ider will be, you know, they're just excited to get to play finally.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be great.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a great football game in Valley Head on Friday night. So that one will be another good one to go watch. And then next we got Scottsboro at North Jackson. And now this is going to be a fun football game.
Yeah,
to watch,
it will be a pull all the stop.
Oh, absolutely. You know, of course, you know what Tygart. I mean, he does some of the craziest stuff, and Scottsboro, you know, they're gonna come up there and want to win that football game. You know, they beat North Jackson last year, 55 to something. I think.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
And so, you know, North Jackson is just sitting back ready, waiting for them. And again, you know, huge rivalry game. Not much of a love loss.
Yeah, they don't like each other at all.
And you know, this one could get exciting on the field and in the bleachers.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
So we'll see how that one goes, but that should be a great football game. Next, you got Cedar Bluff. They'll be traveling to North Sand Mountain. I know Cedar Bluff is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they had a really good game last year, but Cedar Bluff has been struggling a little this year. And North Sand Mountain's just clicking right along on all cylinders. So
absolutely. So that should be a good game for North Sand Mountain. And of course, you never know. You can't count Cedar Bluff out. They're they're a huge football team. I do know that. And you know, they could get it going real quick. So, you know, next we've got Pisgah. And that's one of the games we didn't talk about earlier. You know, I don't think we talked about them. You know, Pisgah coming off of a big
double overtime win.
Yeah, double overtime win.
That's right.
Against Whitesburg Christian, their first win of the season, and actually a region win for them. And, man, what a great game it was. It had a freshman who wound up having 125 yards. Fox
Tinker,
yeah,
rushing,
so, and
that's
so
true. I haven't heard that name.
I have not either.
This week.
That was new, but he's a freshman. I do know that, and he had a great football game. So,
but man, look at all the young guys. Pisgah. Every game you hear of a new
freshman, ninth graders,
freshman,
eighth graders. Yeah, so Pisgah is building for the future, and they had to be excited, and they'll be traveling to DAR this week, and man, that should. DAR put up 59 points last week, and so pretty tough task for Pisgah, but they've got to be excited about getting that first win.
Pisgah's capable of playing really good defense
they are,
so we'll see how that works out.
We'll see how it works out. Next, we got Clark County coming to Fife. That's probably one of the better football games. Of the week. It doesn't really count for anything, but it would be an exciting football game. So. If you want to see a good football game.
If you want to see a lot of athletes on the field, go to that game.
That would be a good football game to go to.
Clark County's just miles above Mobile.
Okay.
They're way down there.
Wow, they got a long ride up here, haven't they?
They got a long ride up.
So I think we're up against another break. So when we come back, I think, if I'm not mistaken, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Mountain Valley News North Jackson Press game of the week, and then we'll finish talking about all the other games. So we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back into the Pigskin Preview, Sammy. Our game of the week, and this has been a big rivalry for several years now. And, got Etowah traveling up to Fort Payne. So for what should be a really, really good
It should be a good game. Fort Payne's, they're a good football team, and they're even better at home. We've talked about some of their athletes. They've got some really good athletes.
Oh, absolutely.
Etowah can match them with athletes.
Yes.
Etowah's quarterback last year is gone. He went to Gaston City, the Troop kid.
Yeah.
But Etowah's got a Division I kid, Trent Davis, that has committed to Duke University. And they've got 2 senior wideouts that can fly. And those 3 also play havoc on the defense. Plus, they've got a big defensive lineman. So they give Fort Payne problems last year, I think, the defensive lineman.
Yeah.
So it
should be a good football game.
Yes.
Of course, you got Hunter Love, who is just a big old bull at running back. And then, some of the new guys are stepping up, receivers. And, of course, Blaylock has had an outstanding season. And so this should be a great football game. And this is one, if you don't have somewhere to go,
this should be
a good football game. And, there's been some exciting. Of course, we had the opportunity to talk with Roger Engel Friday night, and he talked to told us some stories about some of these games and how they had played, what great games they'd had in the past. And so, this should be another one of those classic games for Etowah and Fort Payne on Friday night. And that is the Mountain Valley News game of the week. And so, if you have a chance, go out and check that one out. Next, we have Sylvania and Holly Pond. And this is another one of those I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, it's
non-counting game.
Yeah, it don't really. It's not a real game, but it is a real game.
It is. As far as the players, the coaches, and the fans, and everybody concerned, it's a real football game. It just doesn't really count on the record, I guess, is how it works. But Sylvania will be traveling to Holly Pond, and I hadn't heard a lot about Holly Pond this year.
Holly Pond's not having the best year, but they're at home. It's the last minute thing, Sylvania going down there. So
absolutely.
Are,
probably hadn't seen a lot of them. Probably hadn't had a lot of film on them and that kind of thing. But, Sylvania, we do know they are very physical, good athletes.
Yes.
The Anderson kid has had an outstanding season. And not just him, a lot of them have had outstanding seasons.
They got a really good quarterback. They got a really good running back. They got some great receivers and defensive players and Will Banks and some of those players. There's some good players at Sylvania.
Very good football players. So that's going to be a really good football game over in Holly Pond. Next, you have Woodville. They'll travel to Decatur Heritage. Of course, Woodville coming off of a double overtime win. Decatur Heritage normally has a really good football team.
year in, year out, they have had a really good team.
Have
and
not looked at
been close. Like maybe Marcel Bibles knocked them off a couple of years of being in the state championship game.
Right.
So
This should be a great football game, and Woodville, you know, they'd love to get their third win for the coach. So,
huge,
this is not. I'm pretty sure this is not a region game now. This is everything has changed, but so this should be a fun ball game for Woodville, and again a great game to watch. So, you know, that kind of does it for the high school football. You know, got some good college games coming this week, and we'll talk a little bit about those. We don't have a lot of time left, but you know, Alabama travels to Missouri this week, opening of SEC play. And, you know, they've got to be excited.
Oh, yeah, finally getting to play. Wasn't sure for a while if they would even get to have a season. Right. Now they're getting to play, and it's just, you know, everybody's got to be so excited.
Yeah, I know Missouri's got a few players that won't be dressing out. I don't know how that will affect them, but I heard again this week they said Jones has played well during practice. And of course, I saw where the running back for Alabama, I just lost my train of thought there. Harris. He is on the list for Heisman Trophy this year.
Yeah.
So, you know,
man, he can do some great things.
He's a physical running back. So that should be a fun game. That's a 5 o'clock, which is a weird time. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Kentucky at. Oh, no, I take that back. It's a 6 o'clock. I'm thinking. Georgia and Alabama is a 5 o'clock game later in the season. Next, we have Kentucky at Auburn, which is 11 o'clock kickoff.
Yes.
And, you know, this game is going to be a little bit closer than I think.
Well, I look at Auburn. They're loaded this year. I mean, Nix has played a year now. He's got that under his belt. They're loaded. But then you look at Kentucky, and we were talking about this actually earlier today, and Kentucky has like 10 offensive starters back and 9 defensive starters back. So, you know, this could be an interesting game for Auburn.
Oh, absolutely. I think this could be a very close football game. And then the last one we'll talk about, Mississippi State at LSU. You know, LSU doesn't have Burrow at quarterback this year. Mississippi State does have the Pirate. Mike Leach.
Yes.
And when you have Mike Leach on the field, it's kind of like probably coaching against Tigard.
Yeah, when you have Ed Orgeron on one side, Ray Walker. And then you got Mike Leach over there doing crazy
No telling
stuff.
what he might be
That'll
doing.
be a fun game to
That's
watch.
going to be a fun game, and I think that is a 2:30 kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of great games this week, and, you know, again, some great high school football Friday night. I know the weather's not going to be just great.
Yeah.
And one of the things we need to mention, Woodville Decatur Heritage is actually a Thursday night game. That one has got moved to Thursday night. I don't know. I don't think the weather's going to be much better on Thursday night. But
from what it's hard to tell yet. But
yeah. So, but anyway, there's some great football games this week, and you know we hope you guys get out and go watch some great high school football, and then you know Saturday you're going to get to see some good college football.
Yes.
And I mean, there's been some good college football, but. You know, till the SEC plays, it's really not good college football.
And we've got some good Pee Wee football Saturday morning also.
Oh, absolutely. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we hope y'all have a great weekend and watching a lot of good football, and we'll be right back here again with you next week. God bless each one of you, and we will see you next time.
The City of Bridgeport.
Hey folks, this is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City, and I want to invite everybody to come down here and see us. We're located at 1015 Gulf Avenue South here in downtown Fort Payne, and I want everybody to come down and check out our inventory. Bobby always keeps the inventory refreshed. We've got new stuff coming in every single day, a lot of stuff going out every day. Listen, we appreciate everybody in the area coming down here, letting us earn your business. I'm telling you what, this year's been great for us, and every year we get nominated and then we get voted in as the best in DeKalb. So I want to tell everybody we appreciate y'all doing that for us. Let us know we're doing everything right. So y'all come down here and see us, 1015 Gulf Avenue South. You can shop us on the web at Twin City Used Cars, or you can just give us a call at 256-844-2210.